All right, everyone, welcome back to Central Coast Disc Golf. This is part 2 from round 1 of the 2023 Mid-America Open. We are in the scorching hot Columbia, Missouri Harmony Bends Disc Golf Course, one of the finest wooded tracks in the Midwestern United States. I'm your host, Nate Perkins, here with Connor O'Reilly. Connor, what do you think about those scores on the front?
Yeah, definitely not super scorching as the weather is. I think we have the 1-6 down. Everyone else probably happy with their rounds, but could be a little bit hotter. This is a course, though, that any hole can punish you as well as reward you. So I think not super surprised to see where the scores are at. Hole 10, gonna be the longest par 5 out of the 4 on the course. Nate, walk us through it.
Yeah, there's two routes. Most people are playing where the drone flew up here, and it's descends about 45 feet from the tee to the fairway, and so the opening shot is where you can bite off the most distance, but it's really easy to find the rough, and then you have this series of gaps to navigate that has kind of like a low ceiling. And then as you approach this green, it's really tough to park this hole because there's a lot of sand like within like 100 feet of this basket, and so you don't know if you're going to kind of get like a flare skip or just like a completely dud skip.
Yeah, so many ways you'll see this tee shot played. Second shot, you'll see just big power shots or a lot of rollers even here. I haven't really seen the forehand flex down the middle. I feel like more often if you're throwing forehand, you just throw the spike hyzer out to the left. So surprising to see Gannon play that one.
Oh, and here is that spike hyzer, Connor. This takes a lot of power.
It does, for sure. You got to make sure to give it the height and get it to work back to the right, because if you are tucked off on the left, it's going to be pretty difficult for that second. Jake looks like he's lining up something big. Another rive in his hand. He's going all air here.
That disc is smacked. Wow.
Oh, come on. If that comes out and finds some airspace. Ooh. Yeah, just caught that line of trees that kind of is in the middle left of the fairway, and
yeah, that's pretty big still.
It is big, and it's going to be a difficult stance. Let's see what kind of shot he has to come up with.
And Prez just kind of kept it conservative off the tee. Oh, and he was really hoping to get left. It's pretty hard from that right side.
In a typical Hauk fashion, he loves his par 5 design. It's kind of fun how this course sets up like a mirror, how you start off par 5, end par 5 on the front 9, on the back 9 you start par 5, end par 5. So
yeah,
I think it creates for a lot of excitement and different ways to start and finish the round.
I think 4 par 5s is the most that we're going to see all season.
Yeah, for sure.
Joel going late flipping forehand roller. That is a lot of control to throw that shot. Keep it in the fairway.
Yeah, this second shot here probably sees more rollers than any place on the course with that low ceiling that you mentioned. Jake able to whip a standstill forehand out, and looks like it kept carrying to the left based off of the reaction of the camera.
And Presnell doing everything he can in his power to not throw a forehand, Connor.
Right foot on, left foot off. That is such an awkward stance right there.
So hard.
Interesting that he didn't go to it there, because I feel like he could have benefited, and I know he's been working on it a little bit.
And he's definitely got it. He says just a third of the time he doesn't know where it's going yet.
Can Gannon get the ground play?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
There's
he
no
hits
sand.
early and beats the sand by inches.
Yeah, I think a lot of that sand was deposited the last time that this course really flooded. You know, when the Missouri River is up, that the surrounding area is kind of prone to the flood. This tournament kind of got canceled, or we had to move courses one year.
There's been shortened rounds. It's been canceled, had to move. This is probably the most flood-prone property you will see on the tour all year. It can, within a matter of 10, 15 minutes sometimes, it can go from passable to totally stranded out there. Oh, and there's that sand you mentioned, lands flat at about circle's edge and does not get the ground action. Yeah, Joel just doesn't get any wing turn on that one and noses off to the left. As we get here to the backside, we will feel a little more wind on these putting greens for the players, so it's going to take a little extra reading and strategizing.
Yeah, Harmony Creek is just behind this basket, and we kind of play along a creek for the next, 4 holes, and the wind just kind of runs down that creek, and you can't even really see it, but these sycamore trees right by the basket are massive. This whole sycamore grove is like 100 feet tall. There's like a dozen trees over 100 feet.
Yeah, down here in the bowl. The next hole has one of the biggest trunks on the property off the tee there. Jake on regular grip. Taking his time. Makes good.
Yeah, he's putting well.
Yeah, I'm really glad that he's going with the kind of more basic, simple stroke and away from the horseshoe. I think his mechanics look great, and I think when he misses, it's not going to be a mechanical issue. It's just a matter of finding the focus.
It was fun while it lasted, though.
It was fun, but it's kind of a situational putt, let's be real.
Yeah.
Here we are on 11, par 4, 703 feet. These 3 trees we're about to fly to the right of are kind of the ones you got to test off the tee. Push it just right, like the drone here. Maybe flat on a stable distance driver. That's going to have a little finish at the end. Another very narrow fairway that's super specific. A lot of second shots here are going to be some kind of standstill forehand. But a number of ways to get to this one. If you push far enough left, there's even kind of a backdoor lane that sets up really well, but most players not really looking to get there off the tee. It's kind of a happy accident.
Gannon going a little baby flex, and that thing is smoked.
This is the aggressive way to play this one, and it can pay off
Wow.
in dividends if you hit it like that.
That is perfection. Probably just under 500 feet.
Looks like Jake's looking to match that line.
Oh, he's going
Oh,
roller. Connor.
What an aggressive man. Can it
Oh,
flip?
and it gets through.
Yeah, he's on that backside. He's going to have a stock flat to hyzer forehand from there.
You see the roller often on here?
I don't think I've ever seen a roller on this one. I think it takes a lot of trust in putting on cut and knowing that it'll flip late.
Yeah, because you have that OB right that I would imagine kind of comes into play on the roller.
And with Jake's air shot power, he can for sure get himself inside 300 feet here.
A little low from Prez, but he could still be in position.
Joel going to the forehand, not very common here, and he yanks it off to that left side, but he will have some kind of a hero shot for birdie if he can execute.
It's the one baby branch right there.
Ooh, Joel hanging behind the Mustang grapevines. Gonna make that shot a lot more difficult.
Wow. Excellent shot from short of the vines. Whoa.
Makeable putt, 55 feet or less. Jake kind of turfs that anvil maybe coming in. But it got pretty fortunate on the ground there.
Yeah, it was crazy that one caught edge. He's just outside the circle. And Gannon, after perfect drive, little A2 flex.
There's the one. Catches a little backstop for good measure. Presnell flexing over that approach. Perfect pace. And this is another green where you'll feel some of that wind coming off the right side here. And keeps Joel's putter up. Jake asks if he's outside. Let's see if he goes to that stepper.
Nope. Gosh. Hebenheimer.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate miss there after being in an ideal spot.
Yeah, there's some good hole stats. We like to see our birdie percentages and bogey percentages kind of be in a similar range. I think that shows a good balanced hole. I think with a full elite field, you'll probably see this one play maybe 0.15 under par or a little more, but definitely takes 2 good shots to birdie here.
Gannon just towers over the baskets. He makes the baskets look miniature.
He really does.
Look at him. It's a tiny basket. Oh, left the chalk bag.
Let's say, what do you leave behind?
You don't see that.
Left a tissue
I think
behind.
that's the first time I've seen a chalk bag get left on the rim.
I've got my rain jacket hooked on those things 20 times.
Oh,
trying to get
yeah.
the little flaps
Wow.
on the jacket. Andrew puts it low and center. And all of a sudden, Gannon is as hot as anybody on the card. No one's scorching, but this back stretch, you can really get it going as long as you can stay clean on the final couple holes.
Ooh, hole 12. I feel like one of the kind of signature par 3s out here. It is a tight fairway. Maybe, 10 feet across here at the skinniest, and you really have to be throwing straight at the 375 range to consider a birdie on this hole. And the basket's up on this little mound, and yeah, pretty much just have to throw dead straight and trust whatever fairway, or a lot of players are still having to go driver. Gannon going FX4 here.
Yeah, and there's that kind of false mound in front of the basket that'll gather a lot of shots that are too low. Gannon, great rebound off the tree there. But yeah, like you said, this one is reachable with the mid-range for all these players, but it makes you throw a little bit harder than most players might like to out of this gap, so you'll see a lot of fairways here.
Jake just lacing that one. Oh, and going deep. Man. He just needed to hit the front side of that hill. We're 2 for 2 on the gap, and now we are 3 for 3 on the gap, Connor. This
Presnell
is
peers
special.
it. No problems there for him. And hits the perfect pacing. See if Joel can follow him up. Looks like a mid-range out of Joel.
Wow. We're 4 for 4.
And that is going to be the best shot of the group if it can settle. No, a little bit long. Still arguably the best shot in terms of the line and the speed, but...
We need you, Jake.
Oh.
Pulls it right. He might even be up next.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Good call.
Okay.
Nice. Follow through on that one.
I feel like that's a big moment for him right there. He just missed on 11, and the round could kind of unravel if he goes 3-putt here.
Absolutely. Can definitely start to build those frustrations, and even so, he needs to make sure to focus up on the next putt so it doesn't become a theme. Joel deciding who goes next. I find as a player it's a lot easier just to ditch off the who's choosing to a party that's not involved. A lot of times when it's one player asking the other player who's out, depending on how they're feeling mentally or what the wind's doing, they'll just kind of be like, yeah, you go. Whereas if you ask a third party, you always get the right answer.
Yeah, I like that. Well, we're looking at 3 birdies here on the 12th.
Definitely a daunting gap, but these players showing that they are the best in the world for a reason. We're heading up to another one of the signature holes here as we take another look at that leaderboard. Bradley Brown still holding strong. Another local, Zachariah Johnson, 6 down through 12. Zach always plays pretty well out here, I feel.
Billy Rossini and I go back to 2007, I believe. Billy was one of the guys that was actually sponsored in Charlotte by Innova. He said, hey, here's my product, and I was already in. All the scoring that we do in our sport now is all digital. Having some sort of backup power source is gonna be really important. We feel that it's good quality product. And having the stash pack that holds the cable that connects to any device, it just works. It's not just my business partner, it's my friend. And so that's why this thing really works for me.
Yeah, baby, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Your Dynamic Disc Open champion, Parker Wells!
Hole 13 is one of the more difficult holes on the course for a number of reasons. The first one today is going to be this ripping headwind the players are playing into. This initial pocket of having to get in bounds has been shrunk up since last year. I think you have to throw it a little further to get in bounds here, but shouldn't be a problem for any of these players. The second most difficult part of this hole is landing it somewhere just short of that leaning tree and finding a way to shape a line here. It's very technical and very specific on this second shot. You'll see a lot of kind of weird flex lines or kind of low shots. If you are right behind that tree, it's almost too low to throw a shot. You have to get onto a knee, or it's really crafty here.
Has there ever been a signature tree on a course? Because that's
There's
definitely
there's
a
only a
signature
couple,
tree.
but this one is absolutely a signature tree. And yeah, I was thinking of ways that this one could be adjusted. I feel like if there's any way the tee could get like slightly moved, and I see there's two big trees on the inside of that gap to the right when you're approaching that are dead and dying and probably going to fall at some point. And I feel like this one could get a little longer and a little cleaner maybe over time, hopefully, because that definitely has great character.
Oh boy, help it win.
It just feels like that second shot's a little weird and doesn't really reward you to be in any spot.
I hear that. Oh, and Joel's going past
Unless
the
you do
leaning
that.
tree. That is really hard to do.
Okay.
What a shot. That wind just held it over.
You almost never see shots get past the tree, and that makes
Yeah.
this hole enormously easier.
Oh, look at this, Connor. Jake's going roller.
Roller on arrive. What an
Oh, he needs
aggressive
help.
play.
Look at that wind. Just push it.
Come on.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they really tightened that out of bounds up on this one, and last year Jake would have been safe in bounds. This year finds himself out.
And fun fact, Jake actually painted that line.
Ouch.
He actually helped set up a lot of the course. Him being from Columbia, he just wanted to come out and help the crew. And
Yeah, great second shot there for Jake. Presnell pinched right. He really has to thread the needle on this one. And he just split those trees I was talking about that are kind of dying. You can see them rotting at the bottom there. I feel like they're going to fall at some point, and then
any moment.
that's going to open up, and then we'll move the tee back a little bit, and this hole's going to be perfection. Oh, going for the forehand roller on a play with the left side cliff OB. I think that just saved him from going OB.
I kind of feel like it did. I can't really see a situation where that worked out.
Yeah, it was a flippy disc, and it was already kind of stood up when it landed.
Oh, nice little fadeaway forehand from Freeman.
Easy chip for Buhr. Definitely an elusive birdie, I think. Unless you can throw it past the tree like Joel did. This second shot is just uncomfortable.
Do it.
Get there.
Oh, Prez from the fairway.
Sends that one. Hits the angle right this time.
Prez put it together. I mean, he's 5 under, Connor.
Yeah, and he's just been a little bit off on a bunch of putts. I feel like he's been a bunch of 40-footers, or if he can find himself a little sharper tomorrow, he definitely could be scoring really well.
Yeah, he's made a couple good runs at this event in the past.
And I mean, he still has a chance to get to that double-digit mark if he can really just birdie out.
Yeah, really textbook birdie from Joel after that huge drive.
Really well. I'll get like one chain on the outside right or left. Just come in and just.
Get to listen to the pros talk about the baskets. What's new?
Man, this one's only 311 feet. That's kind of a shock. It's just so hard to park this hole. Yeah, it's almost mandatory forehand. I mean, I feel like I see some people kind of throw a wide roller, but you want that forehand to stay in the air and kind of glide from left to right. And you can't really bank on a big skip on this one. The grass is so lush. Even if you hit with a lot of edge, it'll likely just stick. Okay, Prez is going with that.
You have to have like a broken disc to throw a roller on this line and get it to flip quick enough. But we know Prez has that quick flip roller game. It's going to be hard to work this one all the way back, though.
making me dizzy. I followed that one a little too tight, Connor.
Well, yeah, like you said, unless you get to circle's edge, you see these discs get eaten up by the grass. You almost need just a tiny bit of nose up angle on this forehand.
Oh, yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, rare park job here on the 14th.
Gannon going X1 here.
Really overstable, able to flex it over and still air it there. Nice gentle skip too.
Wow.
Right, hanging out near the whiskers. Looks like maybe an enforcer out of Jake, and he just gets another kind of local love situation. Now that coursework paying off.
Yeah, and he's got a putt after hitting first available.
Do good things will come, you guys. Yeah, still a little bit of a putt from that ditch there.
And Jake has had a lot of looks at birdie this round. Must be kind of frustrating at this point on the green.
Yeah, still a clean card, but only 4 down for him. I'm sure he knows he's a couple percentage points away from just lighting it up. Gannon takes a little bit of pace off that one, sticks it in. Good adjustment, Gannon. And he all of a sudden finds himself at 6 down. Such a slow. He was even through 7 holes.
Yeah, after that spit out.
And he's just moving. Since then, only 2 pars. Everything else birdie. Actually, only 1 par. Everything else birdie. And we step up to hole 15. Another very unique, specific hole. Once again, like I said on the front 9, you just can't find a rhythm on this course. Every shot is different. Every tee is different. And I love that about this place. Hole 15, par 4, under 600 feet. This first shot really requires a dead straight kind of hyzer flip. If you can land somewhere around here, you're going to have an easier look at this uphill approach. This hill is super steep though, you guys. Does not show on camera, even though it does a little bit. You can be at the base of those stairs, probably only 75 feet away from the basket, but it feels like it's still like a 150-foot shot. Flex forehand, if you can work it out a little bit to the right at the end of the flight, is actually going to open up this approach quite a bit. But it's definitely the less common play on this one.
That's a big forehand.
Yeah.
Is that too far right?
I don't. It's hard to tell whether that wall of trees is going to be in his way, but I feel like he might just be perfectly off to the right.
Gannon has an arrangement with the trees.
I swear. He is shaving by some of these things. Guess when you're that good, you just miss by less.
Let's go.
Yeah, nice hyzer flip.
Wow, 3 great shots so far from the card. Everyone well clear of that gravel road. That's kind of your marking point of a good shot. Can Jake follow it up? Going flippy. Jake's one of the best players in the game at steep hyzer on a straighter disc. And he's past
That's huge.
those guardian trees there. They're on his Kristen Tatar Grace. Wow, what a shot.
Grace, that's like slightly understable.
Wraith
like a
type of disc, yeah. Mm-hmm. And Joel was too far to the right, like you said. A couple paces off to the left, and he would have been in a money spot, but had to kind of try to pinch through the trees there. And here's a textbook play for Presnell. Puts it up high, uses the backstop. Tap in birdie. Here you can see Gannon about 10, 15 feet left of Joel, and just one of the easiest shots on the course.
He really is that player where he can just turn around the other direction at any moment. I mean, you said it. He was even through 7, Connor. He's about to be 7 down.
He's even through 7, looking like, man, you know, if he finds himself on a 3rd card or something, that'd be all right. And now all of a sudden, he's got a chance to get himself up there in contention. Gannon Buhr is a gamer, if you didn't know already.
Yeah, it was really unfortunate that he didn't make the trip to Europe for the European Open. It's kind of weird. A player who's like winning, you know.
Yeah, I am very surprised to see a player at the mountaintop of the game not go soak up everything they can. I don't know if he has his passport or not.
He
or
doesn't have a passport,
Okay, well.
and his mother, I believe, is still not wanting him to go to Europe. So there's a bit of controversy surrounding that decision, but
I'm gonna be in his ear later.
yeah,
Don't worry.
hopefully that's the last major that the kid misses. I feel like you're only, you know, at the top of your game for so.
And obviously
many
he has
majors.
potential. Obviously he has potential to do it for a long time. But
Yeah.
even then, you can't take anything for granted in sports. Everything can go so fast, and you gotta live in the moment and just be ready at all times. Cole,
And Gannon's tied for the lead.
Cole and Gannon, two young flamethrowers, 7 down through 15.
All right, hole 16, our last kind of curveball par 3 of the course. It's 231, plays significantly uphill, probably plays more like 260, and a lot of flex forehands on this hole just because it kind of makes sure that you hit that early gap and you can kind of get that skip up the hill. And this one has a nice little backstop to it, and I would say it's the easiest hole on the course.
I think hole 8's probably gonna take that cake just because there's a little less big numbers on
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
But I think this one's got to be the second. Yeah, this one did play as the second easiest. 0.45 under par. Hole 8 played 0.51 under par.
Yeah, nice. Oh, little pull tap right there.
Yeah, Presnell going with that backhand. Definitely a dual option hole, as John Houck loves to put throughout his courses.
Such garbage.
And Joel very displeased with that nose up forehand. This is the shot that he really feasts on.
Yeah, there's not too many more people as vocal as Joel Freeman about his shots.
Yeah, he is definitely one of those players. You're going to hear about how he's feeling on pretty much every situation.
Jake goes a little deep. He needs to hit a putt. It's time.
Kind of makes your job as a commentator easier, though, understanding exactly the emotions he's feeling and not having to guess at it. Oh, off the band. Hebenheimer just been so close all day, like we mentioned.
Yeah, it's going to be his 6th par in a row. That's frustrating. He's been throwing the disc really well. Gannon to move to 8 under.
And then collects the birdie. That's his second turkey of the back 9, and he is moving. 17 and 18 are tricky here, though. You can't really count on a birdie on 17. 18, I think if you play a clean tee shot, it's definitely fairly simple to repeat, but that second shot's still going to have some mental stress on it. And 17, one of the more particular holes on this course. You kind of have to throw it through this tiny initial gap, one of the smaller ones on the course, with maybe a flippy backhand that once you get through this gap here, you start to flip, and then you kind of hit just a wall of trees in this middle section of the hole. I think it kind of takes a little bit of luck to get down there. The shape is there. You will see players get down for putts at a 2 here, but it really feels like you're kind of just hitting a line and hoping you squeeze through the trees. Either way, if you give yourself some kind of a shorter approach into this super treacherous green, you're going to be happy. Forehands, backhands both play here. This looks great for Buhr.
It's so good. That's really good.
Oh my gosh, forward
Whoa.
kick off the tree. He's beyond that ditch down there. He's
Almost circle 2.
standstill putting. Wow.
Yeah, Gannon had mentioned before he threw this that he's actually just kind of aiming at that dead tree and just hoping to get lucky because there's not
There's really no
that
way
dead
to
tree right there that,
that
they
birch
both
tree
just
or
missed.
whatever. Yeah, I think it's definitely a good aiming point here, and there's really no way to pure this one. You pure the initial gap, and then you take what you get.
Buddy.
Joel,
that thing is flipping up so
that might
well.
actually be pure though. Oh no.
Man, that's the best shot of the 3, and
Yeah, just hits the brakes at the end, but it's gonna be an easy chip up. Jake going to the forehand as well.
Yeah, he's going with that flippier drive. He's been throwing this thing really well.
Probably looking for just like a flat, low release. Looking to work left. Oh. And he's going to be in the same spot he was just putting from on the previous hole almost.
Going forehand roller here. This looks like jail.
Looks like a solid angle. Can it get the ground play? No way. Did I just see a Nate Perkins get moved past the disc and the cameraman?
Goner.
He just got from 16's basket to almost circle one on this hole. Not only was it a fantastic shot, but it took quite a bit of love. Jake is getting so much of that local action here today, but also he's throwing the disc well. And
That
wow.
was a miracle roller. The shot of the day so far. I mean, that is...
The position Jake was in, I think, accepting that a bogey might happen is I think even the best players in the world are going to understand that. But the fact that he has a birdie look is just mind-blowing.
A worse lie than the tee pad, right?
I mean, arguably, he did make a little bit of distance, but he was so far to the left that, like, yeah, that was bad.
And you can see how hard it is to kind of park this pin even from, within 120, Joel and Andrew.
And that was a touchy approach for Gannon. He had to split the little gap on the putt, and very technical, even though it was short. What an awkward little step through for Joel. Almost shows off the fancy feet.
This is it, Connor. Come on, Jake.
For the most improbable birdie of the day on 17, and possibly one of the more improbable birdies ever on this hole.
That's one of those.
He found a birdie. Good job,
shots,
Jake.
Connor, that your friends won't believe you
That's how I have to get birdie.
unless it's on camera, and it's here on Central Coast.
Man,
Wow.
played that Lucid X Felon forehand roller to perfection, and he broke out of jail.
And Prez, after a perfect position, finds himself in a ditch. Air balls. He's got a 28-footer. This for par now.
Uphill stance, low left, and it just doesn't stick for him.
No, and that's going to be a 3-putt. What a moment for his round.
Yeah, he's been hanging right there with Gannon and piecing together a very good round. And Gannon takes the lone, or sorry, I wanted to say the lone birdie, but Jake said not today. Gannon, 2 pars on the round, lots of birdies, 3 bogeys, and he's still at 9 down, Nate.
Yeah, pretty wild what he's done with this back. And holy team, one of the signature holes of the Midwest. This tee shot is just immaculate. It probably descends 50 feet from the tee to the fairway, and you have to cross this little section of OB right here, and you can't really open up on the drive. There's that OB creek right there that we're flying over. And then after an ideal tee shot, you kind of have to make a decision, like how much you're going to bite off, like how much of the creek are you going to throw over, or are you just going to play it safe and try and hit this hillside on the right, and then you have to cross the creek again. I mean, there's just no other hole like this, and this is one that's going to make the Dream 18 for a lot of people as soon as they step up on the pad.
Yeah, you won't see anything faster than a mid-range out of these players if they're going backhand. Anything else does have that big risk of carrying long. Just shows how downhill this hole is, that you can just play mid-range and still test the creek. Gannon, very conservative and well executed. He's going to have options from there. If you can push that creek, the eagle is definitely on the table here. But from where Gannon's at, he's probably just looking for birdie. Oh, Jake looked like he might get kind of lucky on that left side, but kicks out of bounds over there. That's going to be a difficult spot to stay far from. When you execute this drive, this hole becomes a lot easier. All of a sudden, you make one mistake on this hole, and all of a sudden, the double bogeys are just waiting for you.
Oh, I'd say that's perfect right there from Freeman.
Yeah, he's worked to the right enough to where He could maybe even play a straight backhand to the green. But with his forehand, he'll likely chip, try to birdie.
No.
Green drone from Presnell.
Man, he's just so good at controlling that disc.
Yeah.
Just Annie.
Just a little bit of drag over the top. Nice height control usually.
Jake over here near the creek. He's looking big.
Kind of a weird side slopey footing, and he's pounding on this one. Very fortunate to beat that tree. And he finds himself in kind of that backdoor forehand window.
Yeah, it was a big shot. He can definitely get up and down for par now and finish at 5.
Andrew also testing this tree, and he also narrowly beats it, hanging out with Jake over there.
That's a good spot. It's definitely, you have to get pretty crafty to park the hole, but
Especially with the backhand. I think it's more of a forehand shot from where they're both at. So let's see what Presnell is able to come up with. Gannon with the big misfire, but that's the safe place to be. Or the safe miss to have, I should say. Joel going
he
for it.
is sending it.
Wow. No. Oh, stayed in
Oh,
though.
it's safe.
He was going to clear with that one and have himself probably a 60-footer or less for the 3.
I mean, it's staying safe.
But Joel Freeman stays safe.
I thought that was freaking butter.
It was, but the trees didn't like it. Gannon going overhand from this tucked lie. Kind of weird.
Oh, no. I don't even think that crossed either. And
Maybe
that was
just-
strange.
Maybe just a little skinny to squeeze the forehand, he thought, so he figured he could get up there for some kind of putt.
Oh, no. And Jake makes the fatal mistake as well. Doesn't cross. Double OB.
Kept it clean all around, but 18, just showing how daunting it can be. Andrew crafts that backhand through so well. And Joel, from his narrow avoidance of the OB, has a chip up for eagle bid. He definitely wanted to float that one in there, and going to be walking away with a 6 down. Gannon Buhr to save par. Yeah, I'm sure he's feeling a little upset after messing up 18 off of a perfect drive. That second shot definitely cost him. Oh, Jake. Quite the reckless abandon on that one, but he's one of the more athletic and flexible players on the tour.
An unfortunate way to finish his round. What could have been on that back 9, Connor?
Yeah, so many close calls for Hebenheimer and Presnell, really. Both locals showing that they are very comfortable on this track. And Gannon just doing what he does. All of a sudden, you think he can't put together a good round, and he finds himself right up there towards the top. Kid can ball, y'all.
Oh man, Jake really did keep it clean until that last hole. Double OB, double bogey, and yeah, this card played really well. And this is a difficult track. These numbers are very respectable. Gannon's going to make the lead card there with an 8 under par. Presnell is actually going to make the lead card as well, and he joins Zach Johnson and Cole Redallen.
Yeah, going to be a treat to watch Cole and Gannon battle it out, as well as 2 locals, Zach and Andrew, with varying game styles. It's going to be a well-rounded card, and we are super excited to continue disc golf at this dream track.
Yeah, thanks for joining us here on Central Coast Disc Golf. From Connor O'Reilly and Nate Perkins, we will see you tomorrow for round 2.